So how do we get help? If our bodies are so infinitely intelligent that we can self-heal, then why are there so many medications and a pill for every symptom? Our mind is brilliant. In fact, so much of the health and disease that we experience in life is directly linked to the perceptions that we hold in our mind. So are we really educated enough about the medications that we're using? I wonder what would happen if we understood the keys to wellness rather than the cure to illness.
It's important to understand that we do not have mental illness, but rather that we do mental illness. It is an internal process of our thinking and feeling that creates the states of the likes of depression and anxiety, or the other 300 labels of mental illness according to the DSM.
I find it very interesting that there are so many medications for so many so-called psychological disorders, and yet there are no definitive tests for it. There are no blood tests, there are no chemical imbalance tests, there's no x-ray, there's no biopsy. All that happens is someone sits down and talks to someone and then they decide what medication to give.
You know, if you have a problem with your heart, you go to the doctor and you get a heart scan. A problem with your gallbladder, you go to the doctor and they do an ultrasound and scan your gallbladder to determine what's happening with it. Most people have a problem with anxiety or depression or psychosis, and they go to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, try this, and let's see how it works. So we're doing guesswork about the brain, and then the person says, well, you know, I lost my libido, I'm suicidal, and, you know, my hair's falling out. Well, okay, we'll try something else, you know, so, or take more.
The number of pharmaceutical drugs is up in the hundreds of thousands. So, you know, I question, is the focus really on research and wellness? If we know that lifestyle is the cause of illness, then shouldn't we be doing things like shutting down the fast food outlets and focusing on educating wellness rather than medicating illness?
In the United States, the medical profession is the leading cause of death. Statistics. It's called iatrogenic illness. I go to the doctor with complaint A, get treated, and then die from problem B. And I'm dying from the treatment. 300,000 people a year die from prescription drugs. If we had that many people die from illegal drugs, they'd have police on every corner looking for those illegal drugs. 300,000 people die from a commercial prescription drug, and we call that the cost of doing medicine. I think that cost is so far excessive, and it's actually inhuman and morally reprehensible.
Well, you know, at a surface level, we may question, well, what's wrong with taking an antidepressant like Prozac? You know, all these SSRI drugs are doing is blocking off the natural reuptake of serotonin so that it stays in the synapse longer. But that is a very simplistic understanding of what these drugs do and the complexity of our biology.
The SSRI drugs have no more effectiveness in a chemical laboratory test than a sugar pill. And then you say, well, wait a minute. How can a drug like Prozac, which apparently has no more effect than a sugar pill, be one of the biggest selling drugs in the world today and people swear by it? And the answer, which I just love, because it's one heck of a placebo. And I say, what do you mean by that? And I say, when I say a placebo drug, people say, oh, I'll give you a sugar pill, and you'll pretend it's a drug, and you'll take the sugar pill and your belief will heal you. And that's responsible for 1/3 of all healings in the medical realm. That's an established fact. The drug, the therapy, the surgery, 1/3 of all healings strictly due to the belief system. Okay? So I give you a sugar pill and now your belief system is going to heal 1/3 of the people. But Prozac does better than 1/3. You say, well, how can it do that? And the answer is because it has side effects. When you take a sugar pill, it just disappears and you're only living with the belief of taking the pill. When you take Prozac, you get a side effect, a physiological feeling in your body. Things are changing, tingly, things aren't working just right. That to the placebo is a rocket booster. Not that I just take a pill, I know it's working, I feel it working, and boom, the placebo effect is amped up. So that all the great healing that comes from these drugs is just an enhanced placebo effect. And that is scientifically established.
The good thing about pharmaceutical drugs is they have side effects. So therefore, once you have a side effect, then we have a pill for that too. And we can increase your usage of our products as long as you stay on them. And so I'm thinking that we shouldn't go there too soon.
Our conventional medical model says, well, the body's a biochemical machine. So leave the cells in a very bad environment, but if I change the chemicals in the body, then the body will withstand the bad environment. Very simplistic and very incorrect, because the body is an entanglement of chemistry that is not a simple A goes to B goes to C, and if B is wrong, you replace B and you fix it. That's the way we operate. It turns out A connects to B to C to D, E, F, and G, and all of a sudden there's nothing linear. Everything is entangled. When you try to throw a chemical in an entangled mess, you affect maybe what you were looking for, but you also affect a lot of other things you weren't trying to affect. And that's why all prescription drugs come with a large number of pages called side effects. The most important understanding about this is these are not side effects. That's a euphemism. That's to make it say, oh yeah, this medicine was to cure A, and unfortunately it will kill you by doing B. But don't worry, that's a side effect. And the reality is, I'll have to just admit the truth. There is no side effect. Everything is a direct effect.